Well, now you should have some tools to incorporate technology and contemporary music into your classroom, which is all great. But you're probably wondering, how do I incorporate this into my concerts? I've heard Dr. Gillespie speak about his vision of what an orchestra concert should look like in the 21st century, and I totally agree. Concerts should start with all the groups performing classical repertoire and newer compositions in a traditional style orchestra setting. After this portion of the concert, the stage is then cleared for a contemporary performance featuring electric instruments, rock and roll, pop, and other modern styles. This is the type of concert experience we want to create for our students and our audiences. Now, depending on the state of your program, funding, the size of the group, or whatever step you are in the growth of your orchestra, this might look a little bit different. And here are some ideas as to how to incorporate contemporary styles into your concert. A great starting point for orchestras wanting to include contemporary music into their concerts are by using the arrangements that are available through several publishers of some of the more modern tunes. You can think of Larry Moore has tons of arrangements of some of the most recently released songs that you hear on the radio. And what you could do to those arrangements to really spice things up is using those optional rhythm section parts that are there and add in some contemporary instrumentation. So if you have a band program at your school, you could always reach out to the band director, borrow a drum set player, find yourself a guitar or bass player or keyboardist, or even a vocalist that can sing the song that you're playing. And that would really, really liven the concert up and would be a hit with your parents, your administration, and the kids will love it too. Now, let's say you don't want to use rhythm section, or it's not available to have live players. You can use backing tracks. A couple of options for backing tracks include arrangements that are out there that already have backing tracks that come with them. Mark Wood has some great arrangements out there that you can find online, or if you do a search on J.W. Pepper, he's got some really fun rock tunes that come with an MP3 that your students can play along with. Now, there aren't a lot of arrangements out there that have backing tracks with them, but there is a way to create your own. A website that I used when I didn't have a rhythm section of my own was karaokeversion.com. Karaokeversion.com is a great website for creating your own backtracks. They have pretty much any song that's ever existed is on here, and they're essentially what they're called. They're karaoke tracks. The cool feature on this website is the custom backing track option. You can actually go in and pick any song and create your own custom backing track. So you can turn off any instrument that you don't want. Let's say if you wanted no vocals in there at all because you want your strings to play it, or you have a piano player so you don't need the piano part and all you need is guitar and drum kit, you can mute everything except for that, and you'll have a custom backing track with just those options. Or if I just want drums for the song, I can just have drums. I can add bass. And you can have your orchestra just play along with that if you've got everything else you need. So whatever you think you need to add to your arrangement, you can do with these custom backing tracks. They're not free. Each one, they vary from $1.99 to $2.99 usually, but I think it's way worth what you're paying for. And you can download that and use it over and over again for your concerts, and most of them sound pretty great. So I highly recommend using karaokeversion.com to play along with. I use karaokeversion.com for some small group performances if we don't have the option to have a full rhythm section, but we want that feel of having the rock section. I also have my kids learn solos on their own, where they learn the melody on their instrument and they play along with one of these custom backing tracks. It's also really nice to have as a practice track for your group. If you do have a full rhythm section, they've got something they can play along with and practice to. A couple of tips for if you're deciding that you are going to use some backing tracks with your kids and your kids are all playing on their acoustic instruments. I highly recommend that you have your speakers set up behind the group. So maybe if you've got two speakers up on speaker stands, they're on the left and the right of the group, but towards the back, and you'll want to get up in the audience area and balance the sound levels so that you can still hear your string orchestra. What you don't want to run into is your orchestra getting covered up by the rhythm section track that's going on. If you're using live instruments, I highly recommend using an electronic drum kit, because an acoustic drum kit tends to cover up strings very easily, and if you've got an excited drummer, they could cover up your whole orchestra, and then it's just one long drum solo. So I highly recommend the electronic drum kit if you can get a hold of one. That way you can control the volume of that kit. I know some teachers like to do a Fun Friday where they might do some contemporary things like this, or look at pop music with their kids, and I think this is a great opportunity for them to practice that and include it on your next concert. Now, if you're like me, when I was growing this orchestra program for the first time, you needed something that was going to really energize the orchestra program, energize the kids, the parents, the faculty at your school, the administration, and the rest of the community. Often orchestra programs aren't noticed, and we've got to do something to help us be noticed. I would say the catalyst for all of the growth that my program have seen over the last few years was our first Electrify Your Strings experience with Mark Wood. Now, I'm not being paid by Mark Wood to say this. I'm just another teacher that has had him come out and had an amazing experience and saw a very quick growth of my program afterwards. The Electrify Your Strings experience is just out of this world amazing. Mark Wood will come in and spend a couple of days with your kids and get them moving and grooving to the music, get them improvising, and have them just be totally excited and amped up for playing their instrument. He'll help you set up the ultimate rock concert that you can do at any time during the school year. The first one we did was in December, so we did a lot of Trans-Siberian Orchestra music, and it was just so much fun and an unforgettable experience. I've had Mark Wood out every single year since then, and it is the highlight of our year. Take a look at some of the footage here.
the bus. One glance was all it took. Singing, now it's much too late for me to take a second look. Oh, baby, give me one more chance. Won't you please let me? Oh, darling, I was blind to let you go. But now that I see you in his arms, I want the back. Yes, I do now. I want the back. Oh, baby. I want the back. Yeah, girl. I want the back. Nah.
As you can see, the concert is just so much fun. Mark Wood brings incredible energy to the stage and will lift up your kids so high. We do our concert. We bring out a professional video crew and a light crew to just really add to that spirit of rock and pop music. You'll also notice that the kids don't have any music stands. They're dancing, they're doing choreography. I believe that if you get rid of the music stand and have the kids play it from memory and they're moving, they can really get into the music and connect to the audience at such a higher level. After having Mark Wood out to my program and doing these concerts, I really saw how much this experience energized my kids to want to practice all music. I decided to start an electric orchestra that met after school, and the kids got to learn pop and rock music along with choreography, and they were able to use electric instruments. Those students excelled even more on their classical repertoire and their solo material that they were working on than the students that weren't in this electric ensemble. After having it after school for a couple of years, I was able to convince my administration to create an electric orchestra class where I am able to have those kids every single day to be able to work on these showmanship skills, improvisation, learning these pop and rock tunes, and putting on these energizing performances at our concerts, out in public, and other events that happen around town. And we've done a little bit of traveling too with that group. My next series of videos will show you guys step by step how to start an electric ensemble at your school. Of course, you'll want to start out small, but I have some tips and advice to get you started and how to grow the program after you've got it started. I'll also include in those videos what kind of technology you should be looking at purchasing and what you can do to get that group out in the community and fundraise for your program and recruit more kids to be in your orchestra program as well. Stay tuned for more.